Welcome to Career Journeys, a series of videos by the Consortium for Public Education. Here we explore the career experiences and pathways of professionals from a wide variety of careers to help you think about the skills you'll need and the paths you might take after high school.
Hi, I'm Gina Barrett, a program director at the Consortium for Public Education. Today I'm here with Martha Rial, a photojournalist and educator. Martha, thank you for being with us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about being a photojournalist. And I know that now you're doing a lot of more things in education. So if you could talk maybe a little bit about how you put those two together or how you had them as separate careers, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I chose to become a photographer because I was very curious about how people live their lives. I wanted to travel. I wanted to learn about new cultures. I wanted to get out of my small town in Western Pennsylvania, and learn about the world. And because you choose to be a photographer and a journalist, hence a photojournalist, you do it because you want to learn something new every day. And that is the basis of education. So photography and photojournalism naturally lead you on a path of education because you have to have an open mind, and you have to want and be willing for new experiences and wanting to broaden your mind.
What's a normal day like for you?
Well, I was a newspaper photographer for 20 years, and during those 2 decades, I would receive assignments every day. Sometimes I knew my assignments the night before, but other days I walked in the door and I had no idea what I was going to be doing because news happens and breaking news could happen at any time. So you had to be organized and you had to be prepared and you had to be able to move quickly. So it was often very long days. It could be very physical, but often very rewarding because at the end of the day, you had images to show for your efforts, and they would appear in the paper the next day. And if not the next day, sometime if you were working on a project in the near future. So that was exciting to be able to produce something new every day.
What are some of the traits that you think make you an excellent photographer, an educator? What are the things that make you that way?
Well, I'd like to think that I'm a good listener, and most importantly, having an open mind and being willing to listen and to observe. I do a lot of observing, and it's a skill you have to have. You have to be a good observer to be a good photographer, and paying attention to detail. And I think that's what really helped me. And also being nimble and kind of quick on my feet, and willing to be flexible and open to new opportunities.
What did you do before you were a photographer for a newspaper and some of the things that you're doing now? Was there something that you worked up to get to the position that you wanted?
Yes, so I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh right out of high school, and I graduated from there because then it was only a 2-year program. So I graduated when I was 20, and I did a variety of jobs. I started freelancing immediately when I was 20 years old. I was working for small publications around the Pittsburgh area. You know, Pittsburgh has always had a lot of great magazines. So I did that, and I also would teach kids photography in the summertime and in the evenings. So I did that as well. I've always usually multitasked several things throughout my career. But one of my first jobs, I think I was 22. Yes, I was 22 when I got hired by the city of Pittsburgh. And I was the photographer in the Parks and Recreation Department. I had a contract with them for almost a year. And this was in the 80s. And at that time, the city had a big budget for cultural events that they would produce. And I documented everything: life in the playgrounds, art cultural programs, you name it. I mean, it was a very busy job. I did that for a year. And then I was hired at Mellon Bank. I was an in-house photographer with them for about 2 years, and that was corporate work. And that really wasn't it wasn't really what I wanted to do with my life, but I really, in hindsight, learned so much from it because I learned how corporate America worked. I learned how big business worked. And it was the 1980s, and there was the collapse of the banking industry. So I watched these people who had long careers in banking I watched their lives just fall apart around them because they had no control over it. It was devastating. And to be able to, and witnessing that when I was 24, 25 years old, stuck with me. I got laid off from that job when I was 25, and I was able to use funding to go back to school. And that's when I enrolled at Ohio University School of Visual Communications, and I finished my degree there.
If you're a student right now and you're interested in maybe becoming a photographer, teaching students things of what you know and what you're good at, what should a student be doing right now who's in high school?
Photograph your immediate world around you as well as the community. Photographing your family is so important. I treasure the photographs that I made of my sisters as a teenager. So do that at every opportunity that you can. But also enroll in writing classes. Take as many writing classes that your school has to offer, and also look for workshops in the Pittsburgh area. There's certainly plenty of them, and many of them are free. Work on your writing skills. It's so critical for any career that you choose to pursue, and you'll never regret it.
What is the classroom like when you can get together? Do you have these students all together in the same space? So you have some in high school or middle school that are working with people what is that dynamic like? Do they work together?
So one of the things I've tried to do with the McKeesport Community Newsroom is to make it as inclusive as possible, and age is definitely one of those factors. So when we started, we were able to have a range of children from as young as 14 and again as old as the late 70s. And that's been great because so many times children are told to listen to the elders. Well, the elders need to listen to the children. So it works both ways. It's really important that, especially in today's world, that generations listen to each other.
Do you have any additional advice for students out there, or anyone who may be watching this that is interested in becoming a photojournalist?
Start photographing immediately, even if it's with your phone. Start documenting your friends and family. Weave together stories. How can you tell a story with a series of photographs? It's a fun, challenging exercise to do that. It's like putting together a puzzle of your life. So spend time thinking about how you would like to do that. And again, be a good reader, work on your writing skills, keep that open mind, and be willing to be flexible and open to new opportunities.
Well, Martha, thank you so much for being with us today for the Career Journeys video series. We really appreciate all the advice that you gave us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
For more information or to learn about other careers in the Career Journey series, visit our website and check back soon for our next installment. Thanks!